There's some basic things you need to know about a pivot table. First of all, you need to make sure that your data is all cleaned up, that you don't have any blank rows or blank columns. I probably should not have separated these two, but I did it for a reason. But we'll leave those blank spaces. You really shouldn't have any blank spaces. And then I have all of these last name blank spaces. You'll see that come into play as we go along. But what I do is I select my data. You can't click on the little box up here. You have to select the data and the headers. Don't select all the way down, just select your data. And then you want to go to Insert, Pivot Table. And it will say, this is the data range that I'm going to create a pivot table from. Do I want it in this sheet or do I want it in a new sheet? I'm going to put it in a new sheet. And here's my pivot table. Now, because I put my headers in there, I have all my headers over in the right-hand column and my pivot table filters in the left-hand column. So with a pivot table, what you want to do is to figure out what you need to have in your rows, what you need to have in your columns. Then the values are, let's just add something really quickly in the rows. I'll add therapist in the rows. And then I'll add, well, that's not what I wanted. I'll add, let's see here, total enrollment for February in the column, which is pretty long and spread out. I just wanted you to see how it puts it in there automatically. Now, I can also take it and just drag it in here. I can say the columns I want to be therapy caseload February. Okay? So, once I've done that, then I have two other things down here. I have values and I have filters. Most of the time, you're using values a lot more than you will use columns, let's say. I'm going to click on Add Values. And I'm going to pick, for my values, I want, what do I want here? Total enrolled for February. And you see it automatically puts my total enrolled in here. But look, it's added up the sum of the total enrolled in February. I might want it to be a count. If I click count, I get an entirely different thing. I want a sum, and it knows that because I wanted it to add up the number for February. If letters are involved, you have to use a count A. You can do an average. If I click on average, it's going to give me an average number that I did for February, and so on and so forth. But the key piece is, and you just close them when you're finished, is when you're thinking through this, you have to know what you want in your rows, what you want in your columns, how you want to calculate the values, and then filtering is just like if you filter a web page. It works exactly like that. I never get it right the first time I look at it and I went, well, that's not really what I wanted, and I'll go back and try something else. So that's your basics. Now let's try to do an example.